How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to be featuring the Rhode Island, the new legendary tier American battleship that you can obtain for free through the December campaign. Rhode Island, definitely a good ship, but my verdict on whether or not I actually enjoy this thing is still out. As a secondary enjoyer, I did want to try and make use of Rhode Island secondaries as much as I can, which, to be fair, Rhode Island secondaries is arguably better than Ohio's, mainly because you have better range, better accuracy, and better DPS. But then the problem becomes your armor, where you have a 27 bow and stern, and trying to sustain within the secondary ranges that you have. You kind of die a lot quicker than I would like, especially trying to utilize secondaries, which is kind of unfortunate. I think if Rhode Island had access to the 40-second cooldown heal, then you would actually have a chance to utilize a secondary build, at least a lot more effective. Although, as it currently stands, doing a main gun build and essentially just HE spamming with a commander like Hoshino or Riker or some accuracy commander is a lot more effective than trying to utilize a secondary build. Which, I mean, to be fair, is the case for basically every ship, except something maybe like Atlantico or those tier 8 cruisers, where the AI gaming does basically everything. But yeah, it just seemingly more and more passive gameplay, but also things that make you not want to push in. I mean, we played one match in Aki and we did like 388,000 damage, and any battleship that decided to push in towards us died in like 3 main gun salvos and one torp salvo. I mean, very quickly, considering, I mean, with Aki and we're using Borg Queen, we have like a 20-second, almost a 20-second reload. I think it's like maybe like 24 or something. But like essentially they're only surviving for about a minute. So if we were to try and push in with something like Rhode Island right now with the Yamato and Aki just bound reversing and spawn, we would die very quickly, and I don't think we would make any sort of use out of our secondaries. I mean, we might get a few hits, they might start firing, but then we'll probably die shortly after. So basically kiting and HE spamming seems to be the main playstyle of Rhode Island, which is kind of unfortunate, especially considering how much they were hyping Rhode Island's secondaries before the update. But it is what it is. Secondaries just are very, very situational. I mean, you're always going to be better off building for main guns. So if you were to do a more effective build than I currently am, since I'm trying to use Optimus Prime and a secondary build, definitely would be Hoshino with the full reload build, or full accuracy inspirations reload mod as well, because you can do some funny things with all the reload buffs you can stack, especially because you have a 22-second reload. I think if you were to have maximum damage taken and all of your reload mod stacks, I'm pretty sure your reload would get down to about 14-ish seconds, maybe 14 and a half. And considering you are a battleship and these guns aren't anything to scoff at, I mean, you don't overmatch much, but you do have improved pen angles on the AP. The HE alpha is pretty high, so the DPM you can actually pump out is fairly decent. And yeah, Rhode Island is definitely not something that you want to let farm you too long, even without Hoshino, because the reload is just absolutely nasty. Enemy Yamato just trying to reverse away. He actually does start going forward because I think he finally figured out that he can go forward and turn away, and then I guess sail away faster than he ever would in reverse. Kind of wish they would fix prop mods so people were a little more intelligent and actually did that more often. But yeah, at this point, Yamato getting absolutely cooked. We had 2 friendly Marceau division basically, and they did a pretty good job of chasing down the enemy Shima. Kind of a rare sight to see destroyers actually doing their job and doing it well. But them killing off the Shima early, we didn't have to worry about using a radar, and considering there's well, there was 2 destroyers still alive, we would have been able to have the radars needed to actually fight them. But yep, at this point, one DD left. Aki is trying to run away for his life. We get a fire on him. Rhode Island, I don't think the fire chance is that high. I think it's like 31%. But considering you have a 22-second reload and battle cruiser dispersion, you're actually able to get some fairly consistent fire set. Although currently with the two Marcels basically farming Aki, running away and not trying to return any fire, they're going to basically take all of the fires, unfortunately. Enemy Aki also not really dropping any airstrikes. I think the airstrike cooldown is kind of a long duration for Aki, but then it drops 12 torpedoes. But Aki is still kind of nasty. Probably the most important ship to get out of a game if you ever have to go against one. Friendly Marcels just freely farming this Aki. Aki making a game return to finally get his guns around. Probably would have been a little more intelligent if he just kept sailing away and had his guns on his left side like he did originally. But he, yeah, I don't know. He tried to drop us with torps, but luckily he dropped it from our front, so we were able to dodge them. I don't think they would have armed either, so there is also that. Enemy has 2 caps. We're down on points, even though we have more ships alive. Other flank basically collapsed. Our team is running away to our spawn. They still have a destroyer alive, and I'm going to assume this enemy destroyer is chasing the ships in our spawn. So there's a good chance those 2 ships will die fairly quickly, and then all of a sudden we're going to be at a major disadvantage not having caps. And then on top of that, enemy destroyer still being alive, they're going to outnumber us as well. But at this point, we're just going to charge in as quickly as we can. We still have 5 heals. We didn't take a whole lot of damage. Just that one mistake trying to turn in and we get citadeled. But we're going to try to get as close as we can. Maybe get some AP into broadsides and maybe we can get some citadels. But seeing that we have an opportunity, we're going to go try and cap B first. Enemy Montana gets spotted. He actually turned away from our team in our spawn, which is sort of interesting, but he does take down one of our friendly ships on that left flank there. So now it's not looking good. The ship advantage that we had is quickly disappearing. We get spotted, so we are going to assume that the DD is somewhere off to the left in our spawn, probably trying to torpedo our friendly battleships. Our friendly battleship did ping that he was spotted, so he definitely is somewhere on that side, especially because he got spotted before we did. Charging in, I popped my radar just in case. I mean, there was a chance that we could catch him, but also possibly not. He's probably much further north than our radar reaches, and he's probably off to the left side of our friendly battleship that's about to enter B. A bunch of ships staying unspotted. Kind of surprised our friendly ship in our spawn didn't actually spot any of the battleships when they shot. But it is kind of unfortunate. It was an enemy incomparable. I think we're kind of lucky we didn't fully turn out. Otherwise, if we got citadeled, I probably would have lost like, what, at least 20,000 hit points. I think the base is 19,000 for incomparable. But if they have drill bits, another 8%, yeah, that would have been absolutely rough. But enemy Yamato running away. Unfortunately, we're not quite fast enough to catch him and I guess get around the corner soon enough that we can catch his broadside. But we're going to be extremely careful here. Everything is finally getting spotted from our friendly destroyer that sailed through their spawn. So now we can kind of play this island a little better. Enemy Montana turned back in. Yamato is going towards the Montana. Incomparable is kind of far away and kiting, so we don't really have to worry. But we can use this island to our advantage and essentially farm over the island and ideally stay unspotted. Enemy Montana charging in. He is broadside, and at this range we are close enough. I think in a general rule of thumb for Rhode Island, I think if you're within 12 kilometers, you should be able to citadel every battleship that is usually citadelable. Stuff like Montana, Yamato. As soon as you start going further than that, you're not going to be able to, just because the gun caliber is too low and you don't have enough pen. Our secondaries started shooting. We popped our secondary funny button, but then they stopped for a little bit. Kind of weird. Where we're trying to use this island as best we can, which seems to be working, although we got spotted by the enemy Zhao all the way in our spawn, unfortunately. He was on a sliver of HP, but he did. Finally, we got behind the island, so we went unspotted. He doesn't turn out. We're able to finish him off with his sliver of HP. Enemy Montana still just charging in. We're sailing forward as slowly as we can to keep this island in between us, just so we can utilize the island to essentially protect ourselves, because this is where the issue arises when we're trying to use our secondaries. When we're close, we get overmatched through our stern. I mean, you saw the damage we took. Basically 10k out of that whole salvo, aside from all of those shells that we took in our superstructure. And then the incomparable hits us for like another 10k in our bow, and just like that, all of our HP is gone. So yeah, that's more or less the issue that we have with Rhode Island. Although, to be fair, we were fairly stationary, and I think if we were to try and use a different build, which I have kind of tested out a little bit, we would actually be using Amelia Pret as a inspiration. That way we would be going 36 knots, and then having running with scissors like we do now, you would have a 11-second rudder shift, which is actually pretty good for a battleship. And then you're essentially playing the dodge game instead of trying to hold like an island or a position and trying to sustain that way. More hit and run tactics, but at the same time, by the time you get into secondary range, that's when it gets a little more tricky, because you can't exactly just turn out willy-nilly in this thing. Yamato, sliver of HP, think a friendly Marcel set him on fire, but our secondaries are able to pick up the kill. Somehow, we went from having basically no kills to now having 4. Enemy Incomparable has an absolutely massive citadel, not a whole lot of side armor, so we can easily citadel that thing. We don't have a whole lot of HP after that salvo that we took, and well, we waited a little bit just to get our heal back up and at least start healing, and we're going to start wiggling here. We're able to get a citadel on the Incomparable. We have 4 stacks of our plotting room, so we're getting 20% more damage. Incomparable, still sailing flat broadside. We've maxed out our dispersion for our plotting room, basically putting all of our RNG into our 1.7 Sigma, hoping that we can just dev strike him and finish him off. And luckily we get a triple citadel, and we do just that. Kind of a weird match. The whole beginning part was very lackluster, very slow, a lot of kiting things. But then at the end, we were actually able to push in and get stuff done, I suppose. Friendly Marcel is doing a good job of, well, doing their job, making our life a lot easier, just shy of 3k. But we're able to get a crack in and, well, cross that one off of our list. But, yeah, Rhode Island, kind of interesting. Not quite what I was hoping for, or, well, hoping to be able to do. But still very early. I'm sure we'll find some build that will satisfy us, and I'm sure at some point we'll also get some funny commanders, even funnier than Hoshino, that'll make this thing even better. But yeah, Optimus Prime, secondary build with Hipper, had Kondo. I think I've been messing with now, like I said, Amelia Pret for that 6.5% speed, and then now we do 36 knots, and, well, we play the dodge game instead. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like and subscribe for more, and share with your friends, or leave a comment down below for other ships you want to see in the future. But anyway, guys, till next time, aloha.